Welcome to the Lights Camera Pro podcast, where we interview entertainment pros about their careers and how they became successful in the industry. The secrets to their success here every week. Here's your host, Sean Ventura.
Go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and subscribe, rate, and review. The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 5, The Jedi, which is the best episode so far, in my opinion. This is the best episode in the series so far. We find our friends in the Razor Crest approaching the planet of Corvus, and they're going to go to the city of Kalandin to find Ahsoka Tano, which is a huge character in the Clone Wars series, and so many people are very excited about this. I'm also excited about it. We open up in a walled settlement, which is protected by many guards in the middle of this sort of desolate planet. The guards go outside to hunt someone. Soon, we learn from her headdress and her makeup that she is Ahsoka Tano. She is fighting the guards with two lightsabers, incredible intensity. You can see the pictures back here. And she is cutting them down fearlessly and fast. She's an incredible warrior. The woman who runs the settlement is called the magistrate, and also Morgan Elspeth. And Ahsoka Tano is played by Rosario Dawson, who is a great actress, has been in many movies, and she does an incredible job with this character in this episode. I'm sure people are very happy with it. She tells the ruler or the magistrate to surrender or she will suffer the consequences. She says you have only one day to decide. The actor, Michael Biehn from the Terminator series and several other movies, Aliens 2, which was a great movie, plays a character called Lang, and he's sort of the right-hand man of the magistrate. He turns to the magistrate and says, when she comes back, we will be ready. It turns out that the actor who plays the magistrate, or Morgan Elspeth, is Bruce Lee's goddaughter. And she has some incredible martial arts skills, which we'll find out about later. We see Mando and Baby Yoda approaching Corvus. Baby Yoda loves the steel ball on the stick shift of the Razor Crest. He wants it. He starts to remove the stick with the force, and he's grabbing it. He's like, You can see the picture here. And Mando takes the ball back and says, leave that alone. Like his dad. Mando comes up on the gate of the settlement. He has the child in the bag. He's hiding him. Lang says, open the gate, and Mando walks through town. He starts asking questions of the townspeople, and they're like, please don't ask us any questions. And then two guards yell at him and say, the magistrate wants to see you now. These sort of robot droid guards. There's a disturbing scene where a man is locked up in some metal box, and he keeps getting electrocuted, and he's saying, help us, as Mando walks by. It's kind of disturbing. Mando goes in, he meets the magistrate, and she makes him an offer. She says, I want you to kill this Jedi that's out in the woods. It's coming back tomorrow. If you do that, I will give you a staff of Beskar armor, which is the same armor as his suit, which seems appropriate. Lang walks him out of the settlement, and he notices Baby Yoda and says, what is that thing? And Mando says, I keep him around for good luck. Lang says, you're going to need good luck where you're going. So Mando goes out into the barren woods to look for Ahsoka. He finds her wielding her lightsabers and attacking him. There's some really cool stills that you should see up here of that. It's just a beautiful episode. It's incredibly well shot. A lot of it's very dark, and it's just amazing to watch. Like, they did an incredible job with this, and just her character with the two lightsabers in the dark and hitting things, and I mean, it's just all I can say is it's beautiful. It's beautifully done, wonderfully acted. It's an incredible episode. I've seen all the episodes. By far, this is the best one, in my opinion, and the most exciting one. So they fight, and they both hold their own. Mando says, Bo-Katan sent me. I'm looking for this child's species, and shows him the child. And she's very interested. Ahsoka sits down with Baby Yoda, and she's a Jedi, so she's cross-legged, and the baby is sitting there, and she starts talking to him in his own language. She's not talking at all, but she's looking at him, and he's looking at her, and they're talking, they're communicating. And Mando says, do you understand him? And Ahsoka says, in a way, Grogu and I can understand each other's thoughts. Mando says, Grogu? She says, yes, that is his name. Such a cool moment. Everything stops. You're like, what? Grogu? And then when he says Grogu, when Mando says Grogu or the child or baby Yoda or whatever you call it turns and goes, me? You're talking to me? Like acknowledges his name. It is such a cool moment and everything just stops and it's awesome. Ahsoka says he was raised at the Jedi Temple at Coruscant. When the Empire rose to power after the Clone Wars, he was hidden to protect him. Someone took him from the temple, and then his memory becomes dark and he was alone. It was a bad time for the child. This is so cool to understand where Baby Yoda came from. Ahsoka says, I've only known one other being like this, a Jedi Master named Yoda. Ahsoka says the Force is an energy field created by all living things. To wield it takes a great deal of training and discipline. In the morning, she says she will test him and see his powers with the Force. I can't believe we're calling him Grogu. They just keep calling him Grogu. And I'm like, what? Why are we calling him Grogu? Ahsoka sends Grogu a stone. She holds out a stone and sends it to him with her mind or the Force and across, and she has him catch it and he just grabs it and catches it very easily. So then she says, give it back to me, send it back to me, and he won't do it. And, is he a spoiled kid? What is going on? Why won't he do this? But he won't do it. And then she says, I want you to try. I want to see your connection to Mando. So Mando tries it. He doesn't do anything. And then he takes out the silver sphere, the silver circle thing that goes on top of the stick shift and the Razor Crest. And he says, here, try this. And he instantly goes and grabs it. Ahsoka says that Grogu has formed a strong attachment to Mando, which we all know, but she's acknowledging. She also says she can't train him because she's seen what an attachment like this does to a Jedi. And a Jedi can have problems if they're really attached to someone. It's best to let his abilities fade, is what Ahsoka says to Mando. Mando says, the magistrate sent me to kill you. And she's like, what? And he's like, I didn't promise anything. He says, please help me with Grogu, train him, and I will help you go to the settlement, take care of your problem. So they're walking back to the settlement to fight the magistrate and the army that she has. Mando says she has a small army of guards armed with A350 blaster rifles, assassin droids, hired military. Mando says it's a lot of firepower for your laser. And Ahsoka says, don't underestimate the magistrate. She is very dangerous. So Ahsoka shows up at the settlement. She kills the guards at the gate. The magistrate comes to see her with all her army. And she throws a piece of Mando's kneecap plate, silver plate, on the ground. She says, your bounty hunter has failed. Where is your master? Tell me what I need to know. The magistrate says, kill her now. Ahsoka flees and they start shooting at her on the rooftops. The magistrate says, execute all of them, meaning the captured civilians. Mando comes and frees the civilians. Ahsoka fights the army. Mando and Lang face off. The magistrate and Ahsoka face off, and there's a battle back and forth. You can see in some of the stills here. A villager says, watch out, there's a droid behind him, one of the assassin droids, and Mando turns around and shoots him while he's fighting Lang. And they have a little standoff shootout. Some people are saying that the scene is very similar to this movie, this Western that Michael Biehn was in. It's almost the same line. So it's an homage to that. Ahsoka beats the magistrate. Mando kills Lang. All the civilians are freed, and Ahsoka and Mando leave the settlement. And everybody's back to normal and free. So they go back to the ship, and Mando says, you made me a promise. You need to train Grogu now. And Ahsoka says, go to the planet Typhon. There you will find the ancient ruins of a temple that has a strong connection to the Force. Place Grogu on the Seeing Stone at the top of the mountain. Then Grogu will choose his path. If he reaches out through the Force, then a Jedi may search for him, and the Force may come to him. She says, may the Force be with you. Ahsoka walks away. She is so powerful. She's such an amazing character. To have this character that has so many skills, has so many Jedi powers, and she's so, loving and caring with Grogu and at the same time powerful. It's just a great episode. And my rating for this episode, which is really scary because I can only go 1 point higher for the perfect episode. It's so close to a perfect episode that I would give it 9 out of 10 stars. I hope you enjoyed this. I also have an audio podcast of this if you want to listen to it. Tune in next week. Check out the Lights Camera Pro podcast anytime you can. It is on Apple and Spotify and all those places. We're also part of the Geek Vibe Nation family. Check that out. And that was a lot of fun. It was a great episode. It is so beautiful, as you can see from these stills. We will see you next time on the Lights Camera Pro podcast. Take care. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Lights Camera Pro podcast, where entertainment pros talk about how they made their dream into a career.
Go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and subscribe, rate, and review. Thanks to Bob Juergens for the Rockin' VO and Joseph McDade for the music. All right, see you next time.